Good morning. I said good morning. Did y'all hear that? Good afternoon or good evening? What is it around this place?
Good evening, Chris. Good evening.
We don't know what time of day it is or what day of the week it is.
No idea. This is craziness around this place. Had a crazy day. I went to go do something that was supposed to take an hour, and then I got caught up having to help somebody do a bunch of stuff that I didn't plan on doing. It took the majority of my day, even though I was still able to knock out a bunch of calls. Just threw my whole day out of bounds. How is everyone on this glorious evening? We're going to be getting started in about 1 minute, and it's time to message all of our people. If you're a leader and you have any kind of group, I would hope that you've done a reminder in the group letting everyone know that we have a call that started 1 minute ago. Let me get a little bit of mute going on in this place, since people don't mute their phones when they jump on a live. I mean, on a Zoom. So, who has something fantastic they'd like to share on what happened today?
Well, I had a lot of people try their samples and they loved it.
Good stuff, good stuff.
Met a guy out last night for Cinco de Mayo, and by the end of the night, he was like, I have literally been praying for something in my life, and I didn't even want to go out tonight by myself, but I knew that I needed to, and you're the reason that it was worth it. So just reminds me that we really have a mission, and people are looking for us, even though they don't know about us. So that was pretty awesome.
Awesome, awesome. So who's going to start the call off tonight?
Actually, we had a tremendous day today, Monday, Chris. Can everybody hear me out?
Yep.
Yep.
Okay, so today was the day that we had a fantastic call with you and Robin to revisit goals with my leaders in rank, my goals and above. And it made me think with myself and realize that there's something very important that sometimes we forget. In order for us to set our goals is to have accountability plan. Is to create an environment where you can have at least one accountability partner that is going to help you keep in track with the goal that you have established for yourself. So it made me get into that retrospective, looking at our goals with the whole team, with the leaders, and Robin and Chris, and say, what the heck? Sometimes we are blaming ourselves, blaming our environment when we don't achieve a goal. And the first step is have someone there to track you, to help you track your goal. Not only that, to raise you up. Because sometimes we have issues that it could slow us down as a leader, as a person, as a husband, as a father, as everything. But when you have that accountability partner, sometimes can become your coach, your mentor, your leader to look at, that's going to help you grow as a human being. That's going to help you grow as a leader, as a business owner, as someone that wants to grow in leadership. So today when I was writing down all my goals to revisit with Chris and Robin, I said, now there's a big difference. Now I have a couple of accountability partners that we can revisit ourselves and rise up, and rise up. So today was the day that made me understand the importance of having someone by your side help you get in track whenever you feel lost. Don't try to do this by yourself on your own and be alone in your way, because you're always going to find someone that is available to help you rise up. That's it.
Awesome. So who else is going to add value to the call tonight? I know we had a lot of Canadians at the Canadian group. I want to give a big congrats to all the Canadians. We had roughly, I would say, a little bit over 200 people at that event for their first real event, which was pretty impressive. The team did a phenomenal job, and just so proud. You know, it's amazing when you go into a room like that and you don't know many, I mean, most of the people, right? And you have that many people, and the majority of them, 90% of them are in your group, right? So imagine what that's going to look like and feel like. And a lot of times people are setting their goals and deciding what's possible based on what they see right now in their team, right? And you don't know what can happen. One rock star can come on board and build some huge old team that you never even basically knew would happen, right? And just totally rock it out. So, you know, today doesn't equal tomorrow. And where you are today definitely does not equal what's possible tomorrow. And one of the things we talked about when we were setting goals was that your past doesn't equal your future. So where you were and where you are today, you know, many times people look at that as the reality. Well, right now that's your reality. But what if you change your thinking? What if you change the way that you feel? When you change the way that you feel, it changes what you start doing. And jumping on the call, on calls with many different leaders lately, and you know, some people felt like they were stuck, and they felt like, you know, and my point is that in their language, I can immediately tell where the challenge is. It's when we argue our limitations, they become ours. When we start giving reasons, that becomes our belief system. That becomes the story we're telling ourselves. That becomes what is happening. And then what happens is all the results that we now encounter come from that belief system. Some people get started and kick a whole bunch of butt in the beginning. And then when they hit a couple roadblocks or some, you know, guys, life, and especially your business, is always going to be very roller coaster-esque. And, you know, many times people, when they want to hear somebody's story, you know, it's all great and wonderful when, you know, we have people that get on board and they get on a call and they share their story. And it's like, oh my God, I grew this fast and this happened, that happened. Oh, everything is wonderful. But what you're not hearing is the story behind the story. You're not hearing some of the things they might have went through prior to. You're not hearing maybe what their background might have been, or the influence that they might have had, or, you know, just their past experiences. And the thing is that, you know, where we're going has nothing to do with where we've been. It only has to do with what we think about. You know, the good book says, life and death are the words of our lips. So when we're sitting here arguing our limitations or sharing, well, I'm stuck, and saying things like that and speaking it into existence, what do you think happens? Life or death through the words of our lips. You can have so much growth in your business by just changing your thought process, changing what you're telling yourself, changing the story. And guys, I had to do this. I mean, there was a time, like months ago, that like I was not happy with the direction everything was going to a T. But you know what I had to stick to was the fact that you know, Robert's vision, he flat out told us, he goes, if the direction we're going is not, you know, conducive, if it doesn't align with our value systems and we see that, we're going to course correct. So that's what I had to stick through. But when it was all going down, I was not happy about things. I wasn't, basically super excited about certain changes that we encountered, or the shipping challenges we were having, or the things that we were dealing with. But how did I move forward? I made a freaking decision to be okay with, what we went through, and to know, and to basically, bottom line is, this is what I really boil everything down to. Mark and Judy Wilson, I trust with my life. And Mark has a meeting with them, and basically they shared ideas. They listened to him. They listened to us. When I sat down with Robert in Miami or Naples, Florida, and basically shared, my belief system on what, changes we should see. And when Kip and Robert are taking notes and saying, all right, we're going to implement this, we're going to implement that. And we saw some of those changes happen right away. And then now I believe we're going to see some amazing changes that are coming. But the bottom line is, what I was talking about with Mark and Judy is, he said that the meeting went phenomenal, and he's more enthusiastic and more excited about the direction we're going than he's ever been. And because I trust him, I had to say, all right, we might not be exactly where I want to be right this second, but the future of where we're going is. And from the very beginning, and even when we dealt with whatever challenges that we dealt with for a year, crazy freaking challenges, I continually basically stayed focused on where I wanted to be, and stayed focused on what I felt we were creating. And guys, we have created what we said we were going to do in the very beginning. A company where people were going to be, loved and connected with. A company where people are going to feel, like they're important and they're significant. A company where, people are contributing to the bigger cause. A company where people can grow. And guys, what I can tell you, going to my first Hope Academy, like the things that we talked about, the direction that we wanted to go from the very beginning, I see all of that stuff manifesting. Are we exactly where I believe we're going to be? No. But what I can say is that I've never been more fired up. I can get on a call with leaders looking at our company and share truth with them, and not a bunch of hype or a bunch of crap. We share the stuff we went through. We share the fact that we went through challenges. But we also share that we didn't lose leaders because the culture, because of the family, because of the environment. So guys, if and I'll just use this as an example. Some people don't like the super affiliate part, right? But the thing is if that's what's holding you back, you're selling the wrong thing. We're not selling super affiliate. We're not selling comp plan. We're selling hope. We're selling the vision of where we're going. We're selling the culture. And guys, that's what people buy. Every other company's out there selling comp plans. This is the reality. Every single comp plan on the planet, I would say for the most part, I want to say 99% of the comp plans out there, if you take action, you're going to get paid and you're going to make money. 99% of the comp plans out there. So if you're not where you want to be, it really boils down to, are you taking enough action? And if you're not, why not? What is it that's holding you back? What is it that you're telling yourself that has created whatever it is that you created? Guys, this group in Canada impressed the hell out of me. They are freaking building against all the odds. They weren't legal. Their shipping was $55 American. Yeah, it's $55 Canadian, $38 or $39, whatever it was, American, comes out to be like 50 something bucks. And
hey, Chris, can I add a point to all of what you're saying?
Yep.
So obviously I'm here in Canada, and I want to drive home the point that, we all say the speed of the leader is the speed of the team. To Chris's point, the belief of the leader is the belief of the team. And I've gone through all kinds of ups and downs, but I've also seen things improve. I've seen the vision that Robert has, that Chris has, that Ricky has. So I have the belief. My team can only believe if I have the belief. Just like coming out of these events, when people come back with the belief and you see it, it becomes, what do you call it? Contagious. It's very contagious. So if you as a leader go through these issues and you're spreading the doubt, then that's what your team's going to have, is doubt. But if you as a leader have that belief, you're going to spread belief. And from belief, we can do major, major miracles. So that's what's happening here in Canada.
I love it. So guys, it's so funny because I'll have people call me and they'll say, well, how do I get my team going? How do I get my team back moving? Get your butt back moving. Get your butt back believing. Get yourself in the place, because people do exactly what Sarah just shared. People buy what you feel. So if you feel disempowered, if you feel like, well, you know, guys, how many of you all, you need to be a Tigger in this business, not an Eeyore, right? Eeyore is not attracting anybody into his business. But Tigger is excited. Tigger's fired up. Tigger's going to go out there and build belief. Eeyore isn't building crap. And then he's going to be wondering why my business is falling apart, or it's not growing, or it's this or whatever. Eeyore, Eeyore, Eeyore. Bottom line is, if you want to go out there and build a huge business, you have to be fired up. And I saw that group in Canada. They were fired up. Guys, 200. How many people did y'all have that weren't even promoters, that just showed up at the event?
Every table had people that were new and didn't just found it on Facebook or just heard about it. Yeah, every
20,
table.
30. I mean, there was at least 30 people. There were people up speaking that were the speakers of their table that shared, I'm not even in the business, but I can tell you what, I want to be a part of this. They bought the culture. Did y'all sign up any of those people yet that weren't in the business you know of?
Tons have joined the team. Yeah.
People are showing up to the Hope Academies. Guys, this is what I'm telling you. We have Houston coming. You should be figuring out who in my Facebook live in Houston. Who do I know that lives in driving distance to Houston? And get them to it's not talking about coffee. It was a people event. It was an event to build people. And it was phenomenal, guys. And I don't think not one person went into that event and didn't feel like they got value. So take over the call, Sarah. Bring on some of your people. Let's go interview some people.
Oh, I don't know who's on right now. Let me see.
Well,
I see Natalie there. And Natalie brought a massive team there. Actually, I would love to hear from Natalie because she has grown. She's been the fastest grower in my team. She's very simple, duplicatable. She does everything to a T. Everything that I share with her, she does. You know, I ask people every time they get on, are they leadable, teachable, coachable? Natalie has literally taken everything I've said, which I've taken everything Chris has said or what Ricky said, and she's duplicated everything. So I guess I'll ask, you know, what did you and your team take from the event?
We just took out everything. Basically, I mean, Les Brown just made it to be, it was about people. It was about getting to know yourself and everything. But even the people that I brought that wasn't even there for the business, they were there for Les Brown. They saw the vision. They didn't even have to hear anything about anything else. They were just blown away because they saw the people there and just the way that he made it, like, it was just explosive. Everybody that I brought over there was just like, wow. I don't know how many people we signed up in our team. I'm thinking about 12, 15? And they were only there for Les Brown.
Yeah, and Les Brown, he's a master of giving people belief. That's why I am so big on belief. You know, when you see all these people who, again, you know, had no idea what the Elevate coffee was, you know, they come and they just see the belief in the culture. They bought into the belief. And it was like palpable. Like everyone in that room was on another level that they've never been on of belief in themselves, in their culture, the people around them. You know, we had a chance to get to know people at our table, get to hear people go up to the stage. You know, we had one lady at our table who she was very shy, and she said, you know, I'd like to be better at speaking in front of people. And when our table, everyone's table was asked, you know, can someone come up and share what the goals of the table are? You know, our whole table pointed at her like, you're going up. And she's like, no, 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 no. And Donnie Walker was there with me, and we're both like, no, no, you got to go up. You got to do this. You know, we're all here for you. Everyone's got your back here. And she's like, no, no, no. Donnie grabbed her by the arms and walked her to the front, and she at the front did awesome. Just shared her belief in what we had going on. And the belief, again, has just been contagious. Everyone at this event just felt amazing about themselves, their vision, their goals. And obviously, you know, it's almost impossible not to want to be part of this on a bigger level. So getting people to the Hope event is like priority number one, because I'm telling you, guests who don't even know what Elevate Coffee is, see this culture, see the belief, and see the people, the happiness, the joy, the everything, and they want to buy into that. You know, the coffee is secondary after you see a culture like this. So Hope event, massive. Definitely get people out to that. And you know, I hope he does another tour after he does this one eventually, because yeah, it was huge. And you know, Les Brown, man, he's what, 75, and he shows up in such a big way. His laugh is amazing. He's got so many funny stories, talking about putting mascara in his hair, and he had some in his goatee. And he had some lady kiss him one time at an event, and she had a black smudge on it. It was hilarious. His story is he still kills it on stage. You know, he still kills it. So these are huge. If you're not going to Houston, find a way. You got to find a way.
So ladies,
We're going back.
Did y'all experience what I did? Like when, it's funny, like you hear somebody share who they were, right? And then when we start telling them after, you're awesome, you're this, you're that, like at first you see them kind of like it's hard for them to receive the fact that they're great, right? It's hard for them to take that. And then you can see them kind of light up as it goes, or as they're now pouring into other people, you can see them start to receive it. You can see them start to accept that there's a different them that they didn't see. It was crazy just watching that transformation for people and watching them. Did y'all experience that too?
I did. We had 3 people at our table that could not talk to anybody. They were so like, you know, anxiety. They wouldn't even stand up. You know how they had to do the stand up thing and everything? They just wouldn't do it. They'd have to sit down. And at the end, they actually stood up and they came out. Like, I mean, they were changing. They were transforming right in front of us.
It's funny. There's some people that are on this call that are probably like, wow, I can't wait to go. And then there's others that are probably like, I got to share. I got to talk to other people. I'm not going.
It's awesome.
Guys, you're going to love it. Everyone's going to love it.
A workshop. Like, I don't know if anyone was expecting Les to do a big like talk, but it was actually, when they say it's a Hope workshop, this is a workshop. They get everybody, all these handouts, and we share. Everyone at the table are sharing goals, hopes, dreams, visions, action steps, all kinds of things. So it gets you actually doing things and getting yourself in the right frame of mind, the perspective, and plans. You know, you start to put together and formulate a plan moving forward. So when you come out of this event, you have things to do. You've got like homework that you've already laid out. So and this is, the whole room was doing this. So it wasn't just like 1 or 2 people. We were all doing it.
Yeah. I see
really
Mama Massini making comments. Do you want to share? Annie. And Marie. Call her out. And Marie, I see you making comments over there.
Alicia want to share.
Nobody does until they ride a dragon.
All right, well, come on, share. I know we have a lot of people that were there. You can't unmute.
All right, well, I'd quickly like to share, like, that was absolutely amazing. For a lot of people that know me, I have a lot of belief now. I was really struggling beforehand to believe in myself. A lot of people believe that I could go far in this business, and personally, I didn't. And then I looked at my belief, and I looked at what was around the room, and it went skyrocketing. So if you have not been to one of these Hope events, you need to go, because literally the one thing I've learned through all of this, the only person stopping you is you. And once you let go of that, and like Chris and Sarah and everybody says, once you truly believe in yourself and you believe in the movement, it doesn't stop. You want to keep going. And it is about leadership. It's about bringing others to something even more amazing than they even thought. And a lot of people need to realize this is a massive movement. It's a massive team. And everybody believes in you. And even when you don't believe in you, you still got to push through those hard times. The hardest times are when everybody doubts themselves, and everybody that we look up to. I used to think, you know, for example, Gavin, because Gavin's really close to my age, I didn't think that he had these stresses or these worries when he was younger. I mean, when he was my age. And when he was trying to push through these walls, or Chris, or Mike, or Cassandra, or Sarah, or anybody that was there. I didn't believe that people. I'm 21.
21? Well, you're the same age as Gavin.
Well, Gavin's 22 now, but he started when he was 21. But, like, you know, you don't see that part of it, and you don't believe that other people have these doubts, and they do. The thing is, you got to push past those. And once you push past those and you cry your eyes out and you go, okay, I'm done with this. You get past that, you get to the next part, it's awesome. And then you're going to have the self-doubt that comes in your head, and you push past that. And the more you do that, the more you believe in yourself and the more it grows. And the vision for this company is massive. Like, if you guys have a huge dreams, 10x those huge dreams and then times those by 10x. And that is how massive this is. And it could even be more massive than that. The limit is limitless. It's absolutely limitless. And you just got to really focus on your self-development every single day. Be a part of the team. Jump on all the calls and put in the work. And seriously, be simple, duplicatable. Do not make it difficult for yourself, because that was my number one problem through all of this. And Sarah knows this. And Mike and Cassandra know this, is I made this so difficult for myself. You don't need to know anything. Seriously, follow the 4 steps. Do you drink coffee? Do you like to be happy? Have you ever heard of happy coffee? Connect. Any question. Doesn't matter how stupid it is. Connect. Like, seriously, if you don't do that, you don't follow those steps, you're going to be sitting there, like, with your wheels turning, like Shane likes to say, and you're constantly just turning, you're staying in one spot, and you're not moving anywhere. Trust me, I've experienced that for the last 5 months. Don't do that. Literally, just follow up, connect, make a list of it, and do it. That's it. It's very simple, and I know that sounds like rocket science, but it's simple.
So Alicia just went over the system, so I don't have to tonight. And guys,
Alicia, can you sign me up?
having her share at the event, you know, she's up in front of the room. She's like, you know, I had self-doubt and I had this and I had that. And she like totally rocked the stage in the room. Even Les is going, you go, girl. And, you know, and he's going, yeah. She's throwing out all kinds of analogies. And I don't even know the names of the words, but like when you throw like a little saying that goes very well. I don't know.
I quoted Les Brown. So right in front of him, I said, in order to have things that others don't, you need to do things others won't.
Yep.
And
that was one of them. But she was throwing out a bunch of them. I'm like, listen to this little personal development girl throwing out all kinds of stuff I've been hearing for 20 years. So way to go, girl. Keep it up. So I see Linda has her hand up. Linda, what question do you have? Or did you want to share some goodness? Or did you just accidentally raise your hand? So guys, this isn't some weird thing where you got to figure out if you can talk or not. I tell y'all, this is your freaking call. And if you have value you want to add, if you were at the event, jump on and share some value. Share something you got out of it. This is your time to grow. This is your time to basically step out there and do something that's not normally something you do. So it's funny, since nobody's jumping out right now. When I started in this industry, I wasn't one to like jump out there, and I was like really uncomfortable to do many of the things that, you know, you have to do. But I hate being uncomfortable. Like, I don't like it. So then I made it to where I was the one that always jumped up and did things, or was the first one to talk, or the first one, because I didn't like being uncomfortable. But for me to do it now, like, that's why I was not going to go up. I was pointing at somebody else when it was, you know, who do you pick at your table to go up? Like, I wasn't going to get value out of that. I don't feel uncomfortable doing it. You know, I introduced Robert. I wasn't uncomfortable in that situation. So it wasn't a situation where I felt like it was a place for me to grow anymore. So for me, it was more watching the other people. I got more value out of watching the other people step up and get up there and do their thing than me doing it. So it becomes a time where you might be really uncomfortable right now. But just like Alicia shared, guys, your comfort zone is what holds you back. And every time you break out of it, every time you break through your comfort zone, your whole universe gets bigger. And it gets easier and easier and easier and easier to do it every single time. So when I started in this industry, I answered an ad that said, if you're not afraid of speaking in front of small groups and making $100,000 a year. I was a horseshoer. I had never spoken in front of people, but I was like, I'm not afraid. 100 grand, I'll figure it out. I absolutely sucked. I mean, it was like the epitome of terribleness. And in that company, we had to do an 8-minute presentation, right? And the first ones I was doing were at fire stations. So I'm in front, and I'm in my 20s, right? And I'm in front of the room, and I'm having to share legal insurance to a bunch of firemen, right? And I'm up there, and basically, like, it was bad. And like a week later, I saw somebody that was at my first presentation. He was on overtime on that one, and they go to different stations. So he was at his house that I went to, his firehouse, and I did the presentation. Guy comes up to me after. He goes, wow, you've improved in a week. He goes, I felt sorry for you the first time. He goes, it was bad. And this is what he's telling me. So a week later, I got better. So the thing is that wherever you are today, wherever you are in your comfort, wherever you are, on if you think you're good at doing it or not, it doesn't matter. A week from now, you could be better. Tomorrow, you could be better. In fact, if you do it today, tomorrow you will be better because you did it. And everything in your life, look at everything in your life that you're good at. Were you great at it the first time you did it? No. I'm pretty good at wakeboarding and surfing. I sucked when I started. I tore 2 ACLs doing it. I wasn't what I would call great at it. I naturally picked it up quickly, but I did not work on my mechanics before I started doing dumb stuff. I was doing all the dumb stuff. You know, I saw people, I can do that, and I'm like charging it and, you know, killing myself, tearing my body up because I didn't work on the mechanics. Guys, the system is the mechanics. If you learn the mechanics, you can say anything. You can basically change what you say, but it's how you say it. And it's basically, you can put me in any situation. I could just start throwing stuff out like that. Just boom, boom, boom. Like last week when I called on, I think it was last week, I called on Robin. And she's like, well, I don't really have anything to say. And then boom, 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 fireworks, right? Just throwing out the value to the team over and over and over and over. Conscious competence, or actually unconscious competence. And the way that you get that is by doing it. The way that you get good is by starting off at bad. It's like, you know, how do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. A journey of 1,000 miles starts with 1 step. Guys, it's a matter of just doing the steps over and over and over until you get good. All right, who's next? Don't make me start calling on y'all.
Hey, I'm here.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I have a customer now. This is Andrew here from Australia. Now, I had a good friend take care of my sister, and she was having trouble with her cognitive skills. Now, I haven't been to any of your presentations in the States, but this is my Australian experience. She has been now diagnosed with motor neurone disease. I have had her on Xanthamax for the last 2 months, and now she was on auto ship. She is sleeping well at night. She is grappling. Her husband suffers from extreme depression. So at this present point in time, their 21-year-old daughter is now responsible for a mother who has been given a 3-year death sentence. And her father, who is now being crippled with extreme depression. I now am working with this customer, and every day she speaks to me saying that she goes to bed at night, her brain is not exploding. She is sleeping well at night. So every day, even though she has this, doctors said she has got 3 years to live, she is working through it. And I cannot tell you how much Xanthamax has made her life so much easier. And it's just, I'm working towards, when obviously when coffee can come to Australia and chocolate and everything else. But the thing is, it's just insane. Originally, like 17 months ago, when we had all the products, we thought, all of a sudden, we can't do this because it's not going to happen because we've got nothing. We've got no coffee. But the Xanthamax has just been an incredible support for her. And I'm researching how not the nitro will work for her. And I'll research how the Xanthamax, every day I research what the products that we're doing, what we have can assist, because I need to educate myself.
But
and it's just been brilliant. So I'm so astounded every day how one product that we can get can make such a difference.
Yep.
So thank you guys, and thank you, Chris, for hearing me. But as I said, this is, I'm just losing weight. I'm just getting my anxiety down. I'm just living my life. But I have friends who are battling cancer, and they've got on Xanthamax. I've got friends who are, fighting life-threatening diseases, and they're getting such support. So thank you very much.
Awesome. That just goes to show you another person that, these guys are building in Australia and building anyway, like they're not using excuses of anything. Again, having to pay more for shipping, having to do all that, and started off with coffee and now down to Xanthamax and Keto Cray, and still building their business in other areas as well. So where we are more legal. So with that, guys, who else is going to share before we close this bad boy out?
Hi, Chris.
Who
this is Molly Ranks.
For some reason. Hear me? Oh, Molly, go ahead.
Okay, I'm driving home. Tonight I've just been with Wes Benson and his group. So I'm a little fired up tonight, but I'm driving home and I'm in the car. I did not go to Ottawa, but I did go to Branson, and I never did share how I felt about going to Branson, but I really feel like a big part of my problem has been that, when we were just talking about how people giving you those kudos, people telling you you are good enough, that was hard for me to accept. But by the end of that event, that was a little easier to accept. Now, I wish I could have morning in my house. That would be helpful. But I have always felt like I didn't speak very well, and I still don't feel like I'm doing very good, but I just keep trying because, like, you just the way you're trying. So I've been plugging into the calls that we do on Sunday and Tuesday and Thursday, and anytime that they need somebody, I go ahead and jump in and share, because I know the more I do that, the better I will get at that. But yes, make sure you go to the Houston Hope event if you're anywhere near it. I'm going again, even though I went to Branson. It was that wonderful. I'm bringing several of my team members, and I brought 2 team members to Branson, but I'm at least bringing 2, maybe 3 more with me to Houston. So I just wanted to share that. Just get your team there.
Awesome. So My brain just went dead. All right, I'll figure something else to say. Oh my gosh, I was reading all the different comments and I forgot what I was going to say. So, guys, it boils down to, Anne Marie, is your phone working now where you can, I see you put your hand up. Guess not. So guys, $25. It's way, way, way more value than you could possibly imagine. The event, what it will do is totally have you buy in to the company and the direction that we're going. I mean, it really is a phenomenal event. It really is. I've been to a lot of personal development. I'm hiccuping and all this over here. I've been to a lot of personal development events over the years. In 20 years, actually, I started personal development at age, I think it was 19. I was a horseshoer, and the guy that was teaching me how to shoe horses was like the president of the Experimental Aircraft Association. He was the union president of the Horseshoers Union. He was this at his kid's school and this at whatever. And I was like, how in the world do you have time to do all this stuff? And he said, you know, you have time for anything that you make important in life. And, you know, so when people say they don't have any time, it boils down to, you have to decide what's important, and then you will have time for it, because we have time for everything important. We have everything that we want in life. You know that, right? Because if you wanted more, you would do more, and then you would get more. And everything that you've made important, guess what? You have. Everything that you've, decided that this has to be this way or that way happened because you made that decision. So the first, he one day tells me, he goes, and I'm like 19 years old, right? And he goes, remember, because when I'd ask him, how'd you do that? How did you find the time for everything? He goes, I went to this seminar and I got to see that life is an illusion and that we make it up the way that we want. And he goes, what I got to see is that I get to decide whatever type of person that I want to be. He goes, so I decided that, like, because he's always on time, like if he was on time, he felt like he was late, right? So he tells me about this event. He goes, remember that thing I told you about? And I was like, yeah. And he goes, they're having one next weekend. And I was like, okay, so, what's the deal? And he's like, it's $500. And I'm like, 19? I didn't have $500. And he was like, it's $500 and it's incredible, blah, blah, and telling me all the value I'm going to get out of it. But all I could think about it was $500. I'm 19 years old, right? $500 to go to a personal development deal. And I was like, are you serious? It was called the ICA experience. In fact, we have some leaders on this call that have also been to the ICA experience. So with that being said, I don't know if Christina's on here, but with that, I went to my mom and I was like, Mom, Terry's telling me about this thing. And he's like, everything that he did in his life, it was always like he wanted to do everything from a perspective on how he would want people to do it for him. So like, he's like, he didn't ever leave like a dirty room when he left a hotel. Like he would straighten up the room because he just wanted to live his life to a higher level. And he's like, this event helped him to do that, right? And I was just like, everything that he did in his life was to that level. And so he was my first mentor, and he goes, look, no, you don't have the money, because I was working week to week, barely making it, I'm a horseshoer. I was learning to shoe horses, and I didn't get paid much. And basically he goes, I'll loan you the money. And I went home and I talked to my mom about it. My mom said something so wise. And I even share this with people when it comes to sharing coffee. It says, and my mom goes, the worst thing that can happen is you stay the same. The worst thing that can happen is you stay the same. She goes, I'm going to give you the money and then you can pay me back. So I'm like, okay. So I went to it. And I can tell you that that was the first. So the reason why I'm sharing the story is because Les Brown, this event reminded me of parts of this event that I went to. Now, keep in mind that this event started at 5 o'clock to like 11 o'clock on a Friday. It went from like 8 in the morning till God knows what time on Saturday, and then the same thing on Sunday. It was an all-day thing again. So this was like just a snippet of what my first personal development seminar I went to was. And I paid $500, right? Guys, it's 25 bucks. And what I can tell you is when you start recognizing, because when he's asking, who are you? And you have to like try to convey who you are. A lot of times we want to say our name and where we're from and all that, but this is my take on things. And you could either take this or not. It doesn't really matter, right? But see, I believe we are a spirit because we're not our name. If I change your name, like you can go to the courthouse tomorrow and change your name. Does that change who you are because you have a different name? People get married and their name changes. Did it change who they are? No. They're still the same thing. So I believe we are a spirit. Like there's something more to us that we can't describe. We have a soul that lives in a body. And that's why it doesn't matter if you're, in my opinion, if you're, whatever color you are, male, female, whatever. So like when all these people get into these, manpower, women live, all this stuff, like to me, I'm like, this is ridiculous because we're all spirits. We just live in a body, right? So it really doesn't matter what the hell that shell is, right? Or where you're from or any of that stuff. And when you start looking at life from this perspective, life becomes a little bit different, right? So, you have some people that blame their parents for why they are who they are. Guys, Joyce Myers basically shares on why she is who she is because she was molested and all the other things that happened to her, where other people that had the exact same thing happen to them end up going into prostitution or whatever the hell else they do, drugs or whatever, but she goes into the ministry. So can you blame what happened to you, or is it how they responded to what happened to them? When things happen with your family members or whatever, people want to blame God or blame, the universe, whatever you want to call it, right? The bottom line is the way that I look at things, and this is not going into religious talk, but the way that I look at things, because it says that he knew us before we were in the womb. What if you chose your parents, silly? Now you can't blame them. When you start taking power and start taking responsibility for where you are, and you're not a victim anymore, the payoff is much higher when you take responsibility. So what if you look at things that happen in your life and take responsibility for them? And then say, what did I learn from that? And then take it from a lesson perspective versus blame game, like we all want to do. Well, if this would happen, blah, blah, blah. Well, if you would have responded different, silly, something different would have happened. It's the way that you respond. It's not the winds that are blowing. It's the set of your sail. Go listen to Jim Rohn's Building Your Network Marketing Business. That's his quote. I could act like I'm all sharp and come up with stuff. But bottom line is it's the set of your sail. You can have two people jump on. I remember when I was a kid, and when you go to the beach in Florida, you used to be able to rent these little catamaran sailboats, right? And these big paddle wheel things. It's like a 3-wheel paddle thing. They didn't have jet skis like they do now everywhere. Like that's all they rent. They don't, they used to have these catamarans. And it's funny, you'd watch one group of people get on the catamaran and basically they start hauling ass, right? Excuse my language, but they're cruising, right? And basically you have another group of people that get on them and they're just sitting there and the sail's flopping back and forth and the thing's not going anywhere or whatever. It's the same wind. They're on the same boat. A different boat, but same kind of boat. But these people responded with the sail one way, and the other group responded a different way, totally different result. So when you start looking at life, that you have the ability to change the set of your sail at any time and basically decide to be a victor, not a victim, and decide to take whatever situation life has dealt you and say, what am I supposed to learn from this? And I'll just use this story. And I was 19 years old. It was right after, I can't remember if I think I had just finished this seminar and all that stuff. And we were driving, dropping off my girlfriend, and my buddy was in the back seat. My sister was in the car, and he tells me that he's like, we were just all talking, and he was saying he was going to die that year, and it was going to be for a good reason, and you know, blah. And I'm going, shut up, silly, you know, whatever. For whatever reason, he saw it. I'm going to be out with my friends, and we're going to get in a car accident, and, you know, I'm going to die. This is what he told us, and I didn't really think about it. This was like 2 or 3 months prior to it happening. Again, law of attraction, you know, did he attract it? Did he see it? I mean, God knows, right? But the thing is that the reason why I wanted to share that story is because his parents were having problems. And it was his death that actually caused them to basically mend their relationship, and they're still together this day, and that was 20-something years ago. And they were on rocky road. You know, they were on very, very shaky ground, and they weren't together. So what I'm saying is, what if I read this book called Embraced by the Light? I'm going off on all kinds of tangents tonight. I read this book called Embraced by the Light. And in that book, it said that just like, you know, I said, he knew us before we were in the womb. The way she described it is she died, went to heaven, and God gave her the plan on the way her life was supposed to be, but she couldn't remember that part. She just remembered the part that basically the way she saw it was that every person that we come in contact with our life, like they were meant to come into our life for a certain reason, that we were supposed to learn a lesson from that. So what if, and it's terrible when it happens, but whether you have a family member pass away or a child or whatever, what if all of the things like that, you knew that? What if you knew that when you picked your parents and you picked, you know, you saw your life before? Because if we're a spirit and we're wherever we are, right? And we basically, and he shows us his plan, and we say, oh, that's the plan I want. And I go there. And then now it's, once you're here, it's the way that you respond. If you go this way, this is what you learn. You go this way, this is what you learn. This is so off on a tangent. So bottom line, guys, I don't care what your belief is. And I'm not telling you to believe what I'm telling you. I'm just sharing a story from a book, right? But the bottom line is that the way that I choose to look at things is that everything that happens in my life, I'm supposed to learn something from it. Like when I had this bone infection in my leg, I was really struggling with the fact that it wasn't being healed by God. And I was like, I believe that he can heal me, and I believe that can go away. For 2 years, I fought getting surgery, and I was doing all kinds of holistic things and all this other kind of stuff. And I went to a men's luncheon deal that my church had, and you know, I asked the guys to pray for me, and the guy tells me, he goes, sometimes God uses people and surgeons to do certain things to heal us, dummy. And it's not just, he doesn't always just zap you and basically everything is gone. Sometimes, basically, he uses people to do his work. You know, but this was something I was struggling with, you know, in doubt, you know, of this. I was believing he was going to heal me. I was believing that it was going to go away, and it would look like it's going away, and then basically it would come back. It would look like it's going away, and it would come back. And I was getting frustrated. But the bottom line is that everything happens for a reason. And I truly believe that all of that stuff that I went through with going broke and all those things prepared me for this moment. It prepared me that when it was time to freaking run in this company, I put my running shoes on and I started running. And we had a supernatural turnaround because of it. Because we believed, number one, we believed it, and we sold that belief. We didn't sell coffee. We sold belief. We sold belief in the systems. We sold belief. We knew that the systems that we were going to use were going to work. And we knew that the environment was going to make people feel great, and they were going to stick and stay, because people won't quit a family, but they will quit a business. And we knew that. And we knew that if we can make everybody feel the way Mark and Judy made us feel, then we're going to have a home run, because we have affordable products that are amazing, that have instant impact. And we started running, and guys, when the challenges came, all I could sit there and go is like, this isn't a big deal. I can walk. This isn't a big deal. I don't have my leg with holes in it that won't close up with stuff. I mean, it was crazy what was going on. Literally, my leg was squirting every day. It was a mess. I had to wrap it up for when I went to bed so it wouldn't leak all over my bed. I mean, it was disgusting. So when I look at challenges, oh, shipping was bad. Who the hell cares? I can walk. The thing is that things prepare you for greatness. You don't know what setback is going to be a set up for a comeback. So my point with all this stuff on my tangent is, guys, life doesn't happen to you so where you can basically go blame things. Certain things happen to position yourself to be able to handle other times of greatness. Because I literally stepped into a position and we grew a business faster than I'd ever experienced in my 20 years of network marketing. We had more volume our third month than I had in 20 years. And I was a six-figure earner in the company I was in from 2010 to 2015 or 16 when I left. So point is I stepped into a place that I'd never been before, and I owned it. Because I told myself I was this person. I wrote that affirmation. I was reading it every day, and I was saying, this is what it was. I was broke, busted, disgusted, but now I'm growing and overflowing. Today, I'm going to meet the person or group of people that are going to use their wealth and influence to help me achieve my dreams. All day long, people go out of their way to bless me. Today, I will add great value to someone's life, knowing that as I help them achieve their goals, all of my dreams come true as well. Guys, this is what I was telling myself. I was saying I get paid millions to be me, not somebody else, not acting like I'm somebody else, to be me. And that's what I was telling myself every single day. And I was telling myself that I was good enough, that I was the leader people were looking for, that I'm going to lead people to a place they didn't believe was possible. And I told myself that. And I believed it, and I knew it. And I'm sharing this with you all because you need to know that about you. God doesn't make junk. And this wasn't supposed to be, and I don't mean to be it's not a religious call by any means, but you guys need to know that every single one of you all have greatness inside of you, and you need to look in the mirror and tell yourself, I am freaking awesome, and I rock. And I'm going to go out there and build the most amazing business, impact so many people that, you know, they're not even going to see what's coming, because I am so freaking awesome. And that's what you have to tell yourself before you start making calls. That's what you have to tell yourself every single day. And just watch where your life goes. Watch what happens. All right, I'm done. Good night, guys. We just went 57 minutes of rant. Thanks for all the value everybody added. On top of me talking about all kinds of stuff that had nothing to do with the business.
But you got inspired, buddy. You got inspired. That's good.
It was awesome.
That had everything to do with the business, because that's the belief we need. You need to believe that through all these hard times, you're in this business for a reason. Like, I believe all of us have went through a hard time, what I've seen from these calls. This business is to bring us out of those hard times and help other people in the future. So if this call didn't get you fired up, man, I don't know what's going to get you fired up. This was insane. Like,
yeah.
Awesome, guys. I appreciate you all. We love you all. And go out there and take control of your life. Let's go build this thing out to, you know, a youth level. I'll be ambassador by the end of June. I'm going to be Triple Crown, making $100,000 a month by the end of the year. What do you believe is possible? What's happening for you? Where are you going to go? What are you going to manifest over the next year? The next 90 days. Write it down, proclaim it, call it out, speak it into existence, and let's make this thing happen, guys. Y'all take care.
Good
Ooh.
call. Thank you.
Thanks, Chris. What a great call.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Have a good
Awesome.
night, family.
Thanks, Chris.
See you in Houston. Buenas
Thank
noches.
you. Always love it.
Thanks, Chris.
Ooh.
Good night, everyone.
Have a good night.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you. It's going to be posted on zoomreplay.com, just to let y'all know. Take care, guys.
All right,
Right on.
thanks.
Thanks.